Desmond hears the name Penny though, he tries to see the guest list, but Eloise intervenes and rips the list away. She takes him away so no one can hear them, and sternly tells him to stop, that whatever it is he's looking for, he should stop looking for it. She also says that he has a perfect life, and has gotten the one thing he's wanted more than anything, which is the approval of Charles Widmore. Remember in the last recap when I was saying to go back and watch the Flashes Before Your Eyes episode, I was talking about Desmond doing his consciousness traveling when he turned the failsafe key. Remember then he was flashed off the island, and during the time off the island, Penny told him that if he didn't get her father's approval, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And when he heard the end of the world, it caused him to remember saving the world by pushing the button and made him flash back. Back to Eloise here. She claims that what he's doing is a violation. I don't know, the only violation I see here is her hair. When Desmond asks why, she says that he's not ready yet. Okay, I think two things are clear here. Eloise has knowledge of both timelines, I think we can all agree on that. And then also she wants the Flash Sideways to continue, because in this timeline, her son doesn't go to the island to be killed by her. An example of this is that in the original timeline, she's trying to discourage Daniel from becoming a pianist so that he can become a physicist, but the opposite is true in this timeline. But wait, if she's trying to protect the Flash Sideways timeline and make it so it continues, why is she also protecting the original timeline in the original universe as we've seen last season? I think her role in both timelines is the same, to protect the universe that she's in at that time. So in the Flash Sideways, she doesn't want Desmond to meet Penny because she knows that it'll somehow lead to him becoming aware of the original timeline, possibly collapsing the timeline she's in right now. And then in the original timeline, she needs to keep Desmond from staying with Penny, which is why he discourages him from buying the ring, the wedding ring for her, to make sure that he actually gets to the island to protect that universe. So in both timelines, he's kind of like, or she's kind of like the time cop. It kind of reminds me of the scales and the pictures in Widmore's office. And to me, that's what Eloise seems to be. She keeps the balance and makes sure the rules are observed and that no violations occur. Just like in the painting and in her universe, the scales are perfectly balanced. Everyone has what they think they want, but not what their soul truly desires. And this brings me to the topic of love. Daniel and Charlie talk about a profound love, and they both say that this love caused them to become aware that the reality they're in right now isn't the only reality. And then when Jacob touches Jin and Sun, he talks about how important their love is. So maybe love will be important in unifying the two timelines, or maybe just letting the people know about the other reality's existence. But like I said a little bit ago, Eloise might have always wanted only the Flash Sideways timeline to prevail, because in the original timeline, her son went to the island, which led to the blowing up of Jughead, which we assume leads to the Flash Sideways. Desmond goes back to the limo when a man knocks at the window. It turns out to be Daniel, saying he's Widmore's son and that they need to talk. Daniel asks Desmond if he believes in love at first sight, because he claims he loves a redhead, aka Charlotte, who works at a museum, and that when he first saw her, he felt like he'd already loved her. He says that on the same night he saw Charlotte, he woke up and found that he wrote all these advanced quantum mechanic equations in his notebook, which his mathematician friend claimed would need a lifetime of study to understand. In the Flash Sideways, Daniel's not a scientist, but a musician. Remember in the original timeline, Eloise convinced young Daniel not to be a pianist, but a scientist. He tells Desmond that it's like something catastrophic was about to happen, and the only way to stop it was to release a large amount of energy, like setting off a nuclear bomb or something. Daniel wonders out loud if this life, aka the Flash Sideways, was ever meant to be, and wonders if there had been another life in which for some reason they changed things. He claims that he thinks he already set off a nuclear bomb. He also tells Desmond that what he has found in his visions of Penny is love, and that Penny is Daniel's half-sister. So just to talk about family for a little bit in case some of you guys are confused, we know that Penny is Daniel's half-sister, we know that Charles Widmore is the father of both Daniel and Penny, and we know that Eloise is the mother of Daniel, but we don't know who Penny's real mom is. I think Penny is a little bit older than Daniel, so that means Widmore could have had a relationship or even a marriage in the Flash Sideways before being with Eloise. She is on the guest list after all, and Eloise doesn't seem to mind, so that probably means that she wasn't the product of some affair. He tells Desmond where to find her, which happens to be at the exact same stadium that Jack and Desmond met at in the original timeline. Penny's doing her best Desmond impersonation of running the steps as Desmond approaches her. He introduces himself and reaches to shake her hand, but the moment they touch, Desmond faints. He ends up waking back up on the island as Widmore asks how he is and tells him that he's only been unconscious for a few seconds. When Widmore says that his talent is vital to the mission, Desmond calmly claims that he understands. So Zoe and 2 other guys are escorting Desmond back to the base, and Saeed pops up out of nowhere and goes into neck-snapping mode, demolishing the 2 guys and pointing his gun at Zoe, saying, "Run." Saeed tells Desmond that Widmore's crew is extremely dangerous. Yeah, coming from the guy who just destroyed his escorts. He says that they have to go, and Desmond calmly says, "Of course, lead the way." The last scene is back in the Flash Sideways, where Desmond wakes back up from fainting, and Penny asks if they've ever met before. Desmond says that they would have remembered, and then invites her to get some coffee with him. It's funny because in real life, there's actually not a coffee shop on the corner of Melrose and Sweetser like Penny says there is, and tells Desmond to meet her there. But there's actually a little antique shop there in real life, and it's called Thanks for the Memories. It seems kind of fitting here, don't you think? So she agrees to get some coffee with him, and Desmond heads over to the limo, asking Minkowski if he can get the Flight 815 manifest for him. When George asks why, Desmond tells him, "I just need to show them something." Maybe this means Desmond's gonna act like Locke did as Jeremy Bentham, but instead of trying to get people to go back to the island in the Flash Sideways, he'll show them and convince them the existence of the other reality. In a way, well, sort of, it's kind of a little bit different than this. It's kind of similar to The Matrix, where Morpheus tries to convince Neo of another real reality. The ending of this episode seems to strongly indicate that Desmond's aware of both timelines while in both timelines. This may have been caused by the EMP or by establishing a constant in both timelines. Penny is Desmond's constant, we know that, and once he touches her, he realizes both timelines. And like I was talking about earlier, the Flash Sideways seems to be a reality in which characters get what they want, but they have to forego something that's really important to them. They're essentially sacrificing to gain another thing. So it's not all perfect like Eloise makes it out to be. Like for example, Desmond has Widmore's respect, but he doesn't have Penny, at least right away. Jack is a successful doctor and has a son, but he's single. Locke is engaged to Helen, but he's still in a wheelchair. Ben is a teacher and he has Alex, but he doesn't have any power, and Alex isn't his daughter, but his student. And then Saeed has Nadia, but not as his wife, as an in-law. Okay then, time for Gus's photo hunt. Congratulations to Gehazi on winning the photo hunt. You figured out that this sand and this man belonged to this picture. So good job, you won the virtual trophy. Anyways, here's the one for this week, and if you can figure out what this belongs to, leave a video response and you'll win too. So good luck. Now for the unanswered questions of this episode. I think this week I'm not really going to ask anything from this particular episode. I'm just going to ask one general, really tough question. And the question is, how would you explain Lost in one sentence to a friend who has never watched the show before? Because I tried to this week and pretty much failed. This should be fun though, reading what you guys come up with, so leave your sentence down in the comments section and we'll see which one's the best or funniest. Okay guys, that's it for me. Sorry about not getting this recap up on Saturday. I really tried. I thought I would have a lot more time to work on it, but I actually didn't have a lot of time at all, so that's why it might have seemed a little incomplete as far as the theories go. Anyways, I hope you guys liked it. I'm really looking forward to the next episode, which is Hurley's. It's called Everybody Loves Hugo. If you guys could subscribe to these videos, I'd really appreciate it. Hope you have a great week. I will see you next Sunday, and God bless.